Welcome to A Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Nav, and my pronouns are they, them.
And my name's Harmat, and my pronouns are Hershey, like the chocolate.
And for the last time, this is A Feast for Crows, chapters 44 and 45.
Is that true?
Jaime and Samwell.
Wait, that's not true!
In these chapters,
What the fuck are you yapping about?
Jaime has an epic
chapters.
breakup, and we are reunited with the epic storyline from the prologue.
But there's like 10 pages left. What's going on those pages? I thought it was like we had one
pages.
more.
Okay, so
Something
you
like
really
that?
didn't realize it was the last chapters?
Yeah, there's like. Wait,
Okay, go
what
to
the fuck? Wait, there's only like 4 pages. Wait, I literally didn't. It didn't even. I think. Wow, there's only like 2 pages. Okay, so then what's left? It literally looked like there was a chapter.
Why don't you flip after Sam's chapter?
Okay.
Flip it.
Oh, I can? Okay.
Now, yes, yeah.
Bro, it literally looks like a chapter, and you have it covered up with a sticky note.
Yeah.
Should I remove the sticky note?
Uncover it.
Oh, okay.
Yes, uncover it. Read it out loud.
Meanwhile, back on the wall.
Don't be as excited because I already read this to you like ages ago.
I was like, why does that sound so familiar? Oh, this thing. Oh,
Yeah.
Wait, this book's over? Dude, I fully, you know what? This is your conditioning of me coming through. Of like, where I was like, I can't even look. Like, I knew, obviously, like, I guys, I got glasses a couple months ago. So now I have really good vision, right? So I could tell that, like, okay, like, we're very close to the appendix sticker. But I think as soon as I finished Sam's chapter, I was like, I don't want to accidentally glance anything. And the fact that you had it covered up with a sticky, like, I fully was like, oh, we have one more, like, 5-page chapter where, like, we see Danny flying or something. Like, or not Danny, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, we see something epic happen. I didn't realize this was the end of the book.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
So, welcome to the podcast, everyone.
I'm genuinely crisising what's going on.
Oh, this is, I think, the first time where you've actually not realized it's the end of the book before it's the end of the book, and I'm so glad about that.
Yeah, I think a couple chapters ago I was like, or a couple episodes ago I was like, oh, we only have a couple episodes left. But then last episode I wasn't like, hey guys, this next one is going to be our last. So
And I kind of misled you. Like I said, for the last time, we're going to still have a wrap up, and that'll be a Feast of Crows related. But like chapter wise, this is the last time.
This
you know?
is really, I feel kind of like, I don't know, my heart's kind of like, oh, you know, like it's over. This was so fun.
Yeah.
It was such a good journey.
Well, pack up those feelings and keep them for the wrap up.
But that's so, you know what? I think every single book, I get this little whiplash where, like, the last chapter never feels like the last chapter because nothing could beat fucking dragons and Rob getting crowned. So it always feels like there's gotta be some, like, you know what I mean? Like, the end of these
not
books
epic
never feels
enough.
like yes, it never, I don't think that even like book 5, I just, because the ones for book 1 were just so like brain chemistry altering, like it just, yeah, like I have a hard time believing this is the end, even though I've been told this is the end. This is really weird. Also, right before we started recording, you were like, oh yeah, I should probably start prepping the 5th book. You did not make it sound like we were done. You made it sound like we had a couple more chapters.
Well, I was hoping I would get this reaction on air, so that's why I kind of purposefully made it like that.
Wild.
Yeah.
This is wild. Okay. All right. I am ready to move on now.
Speaking of the fifth book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I know I said I don't have any energy today, so we're gonna like do this quickly, but let's keep this conversation to like 3 minutes, okay? Just answer with like yes, no kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's something about the next book that's not plot related, but it is reading experience related. Like I'm trying to find the best words without like spoiling, right?
Okay.
And there's like not a prologue, like a what's like, you know how like George R. R. Martin has like a postscript in this book? What is a prescript? What's it called?
Yeah. Oh, like a not a preamble, but like a forward?
I think forward. That's the word.
Yeah.
A forward to the next book that's related not to the plot but to the reading experience. And I want to ask your opinion, whether you want to read it before the book because it is the forward. People have made the argument since it's the forward, it's like fair game, but I want to give you the choice cuz you know, last book that's out, I want you to decide whether you want to read it or whether you want to be completely surprised.
Okay, can I ask a follow-up? It's funny.
You can ask, but I may not answer.
Here's the thing, because what you're doing right now is very kind, but it's also a little mean, because how am I supposed to make a decision when I don't know what the thing is? Okay, I guess, here's my question.
Say, like, you know how this book had only half the POVs?
Yeah, and
you didn't realize, like, way later.
My thing, yes. Okay,
would you have rather known about that going into this book, or would you?
I think it would have made me... I think it's okay that I didn't know for a while. Like, I honestly think it had me enjoying things more, because I didn't have the expectation for as many new POVs as we were getting and stuff. Like I think it was nice to be surprised by it, but I guess with the fifth book, the thing is, I don't know what the thing is. Maybe it's a thing I would like to know. So I guess what I want to ask you is, is it something that if you don't tell me, within a couple of chapters, I will have figured out about the book? Or will it take longer for me to figure out?
No, you wouldn't have figured it out so quickly.
Okay. That's tough. That is tough.
Okay, maybe think about it.
I'll
Tell
think
us
about
during
it,
the wrap-up, okay?
I have no idea, bro. Like, I'm making a shot in the dark. I don't know.
Well, tell us in the wrap-up. You don't have to tell, but you know what? I'm so exhausted. I can't make these decisions anymore. My instinct, of course, is to never tell you anything of any kind, right? Like,
right, yes.
That's 'cause,
you know what? People write in and tell Nev what you think I should do.
No, don't tell me. Tell us.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Yeah. That's true. They can literally tell me what they think.
There were 2 people, 2.5, maybe 3 people, because one of them was not as like firm about it, but like there were 2 people that said that they want you to read it beforehand. But then I did a poll and then nobody responded to the poll, so like what am I supposed to make of that?
Okay, yeah. Like, if there's something spoilery in your argument that you want to say, like, sure, talk to Nav about it, but otherwise, like, what do you guys think I should do? Because y'all have heard me
tell
yap
her
for
in
a while
yeah
now.
Like talk to her in Discord, tag her so she actually looks at it.
What? I look at it, but like
once in a blue moon.
nah bro I think, like, because you guys know, I feel like at this point you guys know what I like and what I don't like, and you also saw, like I just told you, I did enjoy not knowing it for the POVs, but if this is something completely different, I might want to know. So, what do you guys think would make my experience better? You know me pretty well by now.
I love how we're just like pushing this off to everybody else. So I'm like, I don't want to do it. You do it. And you're like, I don't want to do it. So listeners do it.
Yeah, just because, like, I do want opinions, because I feel like either way my choice is going to be uninformed. So I may as well get some information.
Here, let me see if I can find some of those opinions right now and read them to you without spoilers.
Okay, slay.
I remember one of the arguments being that, like, unlike in this book where it was the, like, at the end of the book, this is like in the next book, it's a foreword, you know?
So, like,
so that's why it's fair game.
Right.
Let's see.
Because I guess my hope was that it could be something that I could, like, try to figure out, but then, like, if I know it within, like, 5 chapters, then I can go back and read the foreword anyway. But I guess if I'm not figuring it out that soon, the choice really is, like, whenever it comes up, or, like, end of the book or something, you know? But also, like, I guess my thing is, like, I just don't know. I don't want to wait until the end of the book to read the foreword. But I also
won't
don't
be
know
the
how
end of the
quickly it'll
book,
come
but
up.
it won't be super quick.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, somebody did say don't let you read it.
They just want the entertainment of me being in the dark.
Just to kind of parallel the experience with the Feast for Crows, you know?
Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, the core of our podcast is not knowing versus knowing.
Yeah. So, okay, I guess that's TBD.
Okay, you know what? I have a temporary decision. Don't tell me, but let's say, like, 10 chapters in, I change my mind, then tell me.
I don't know about that.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I would rather just do it, like, all at once rather than do that.
No, but, like, give me a chance to, like, get going and, like, realize what's going on, you know?
Maybe. Okay. So why don't you give us your final decision one way or the other, not like this wishy-washy bullshit.
I like this decision. Okay, we'll see. I'll think about it. People, give me your thoughts,
and then
opinions.
maybe by then my brain will have started working again, and then I will have come to a firm decision either way, and then I'll just I get to override it. So anybody else's suggestions, decisions, all of that, vetoed.
But in the meantime, let us know.
Yeah. Okay. Let's actually talk about these chapters. Okay, who died in these chapters? Real quick.
Okay, wait, hold on. No one?
We hear about one of the Westerling kids having died at the Red Wedding, or, like, possibly
but, like,
died.
That shit was years ago, guys.
Hey,
like...
it's worth noting. We note all the deaths in this podcast, okay? Moment of silence for whatever that kid's name was. He did try to save the wolf, so, like, you know?
I really respect that. It felt like a nice little, like, especially, like, with this chapter, us finding out that Jane was, you know, not, like, at least not, like, a willing accomplice, whatever. Like, it's just nice to be like, okay, some of the Westerling kids do know where it's at, you know? It was just a nice little feeling, even. And
I don't think anybody died in Sam's chapter. Like, we hear about the Iron guys. Iron
guys. Iron boys.
Wreaking havoc, you know?
Yeah.
All along the Reach and all of that, so.
Sad.
Yeah. Let's what did you think of these chapters, and what do you think of them now, knowing that they're the last chapters?
Okay. I will say I liked them more when I didn't know that they were the last chapters.
Why don't you like them as much? Because they're not epic enough?
Yes, because I enjoyed them.
But it's such a full circle moment. We start in Old Town, we end in Old Town.
Yeah.
We start with Jacan, we end with Jacan.
And, like, that's fine. But, like...
wow.
And, like, that's fun. But it just, like I said, I think the fact that, like, the book 1 ending was one of the most, like, earth-shattering experiences for me, because we were coming off of,
but
like...
that was 3 books ago.
Okay, let me yap. Like, we were coming off of, like, he hit us with the Ned is dead, which was wild, and then he hit us with the dragons, and then he hit us with the Robb is now King of the North, like, and I can't help but compare and say...
But you didn't compare the ending of book 2 or 3 to that. I don't remember you saying anything about it.
Book 2, I do remember comparing. Book 3 was once again, we finally had some wins and stuff after the Red Wedding, and it was like, book 3 was just so weird and such a journey that I think I wasn't comparing, because it was just such a different book compared to everything else, because it was like, we had the lows of the Red Wedding, but then we had like Joffrey dead, but then we had like Catelyn's coming back in a weird fucking way. Like, I think book 3 was just so, like, weird. And yeah, like, I enjoyed these chapters. Jaime's was so fun. Sam's was so fun. I loved the little reunions and, like, the plot points that came up.
Given the characters in this book, whose chapter would you have liked to end on?
I think, like, a Cersei about to, like, be, like, burnt at the stake sort of vibe, or, like... So,
like, another one chapter ahead... But isn't Jaime saying no to her more epic?
It is pretty epic, yeah. But I think it's just like, I think the thing is just, it's epic in a different way. Like, I think I was looking for something a bit more, like, fantastical, or like, whoa!
There's
and, like,
literally, like, obsidian candles and people, like, doing prophecies and shit, like...
Yeah, but, like, we've had that the rest of the book, too. It's not like this was amped up. It's not like we saw the mage be like, now I'm gonna transport myself to Dan. Like, there was nothing...
That's basically what he does at the end of this.
Yeah, but, like, it didn't hit the same, and that's okay. It doesn't have to hit the same. I love the ending
of this book. I love this book. This book is, like, near perfect.
This book is great. I just was like, yeah, like, I don't even know what I would have wanted, but this was good. Like, I really liked these chapters. I just didn't think they were the end.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
Because I was like, we can keep going. Especially because, like, you have to admit, some of the chapters we've had recently have been wild.
Well, we're gonna talk, and then maybe you will feel better about these chapters.
Okay, all right. Maybe I just missed everything that happened.
Summarize them for us in 3,
oh my God. Okay, hold on.
2, 1, go.
Okay, Jaime wrapping up loose ends. Edmure, oh no, Brynden escaped. Drawbridge, whoa, crazy. Frey, weird. Jaime, plea from Cersei. Jaime going, fuck no, bitch. Mommy issues, mommy dream. What else does he do? He does, like, a lot of, like, decreeing. Oh god. Oh my god, he literally does other things. Okay.
Switch.
Okay, hold on. Sam. Okay. Sam, arrive at Old Town. Hey Gilly, this is the plan. Alaris, oh my god, crossover episode. Grabs him, takes him to Mage. He spills. Mage is like, I actually knew all this, but just wanted to hear it from you. I'm gonna go deal with Dany. You deal with these people, just appeal to their ego, it'll be fine. And fucking Pate Jacan is hanging out. And we don't really know what that's about, so that's wild. Oh my god, what else happens?
Oh, I think that's a minute. I kind of lost my vision, went a little hazy, and I stopped seeing the time. I don't think I heard most of that last 30 seconds, but I'll assume you said the right things. I'm so sorry. I'm trying so hard, but my brain just keeps drifting.
That is okay. That is okay. As is your right.
Yeah. So Jaime, let's just jump right into it. Okay.
Let's do it. Okay.
Yada yada yada. Jaime's at River Run. They have ownership of River Run now, but they're still mad because the Blackfish escaped, and he went under the portcullis because he swam all the way to who knows where. Hopefully, maybe he'll join up with Catelyn, and they can wreak havoc on the Riverlands together.
And he can fucking. Bro, you know what's so funny? I feel like I predicted Catelyn running into and being stopped by every single fucking person, except for maybe the Blackfish was in there when I was riffing at some point, but I feel like every other person I was like, oh, Rickon's gonna stop her because she's gonna be like, I killed my fucking kid. Do you know what I mean? I was predicting everybody except for the Blackfish. So, but now it's looking like that's probable and even likely. So I'm excited for the Blackfish though, because he can be like, girl, I got you. I've been besieged in that castle, fucking fighting for Robb, but this is not the way that we do this, you know?
Okay.
And
Make
I
her
just,
see the light.
Yeah, and it just, and he's her uncle, and you know, and he's one of the last people that she would believe in the goodness of, I feel like, if she's still capable of that. So it just is one of those things of wow, you know? Because even with Brienne, she's like, well, you betrayed us. You went and now you've changed hands and now you're with the Kingslayer. But, with Brendan, it's girl, you gotta listen to him. He's clearly right, you know?
But maybe he's now had enough of all the Lannisters and Freys that he'll be like, yes, Catelyn, let's get it on.
Let me live in my fantasy. Let me live in my fantasy.
No, you gotta
world.
live in George R. R. Martin's fantasy, not your fantasy.
Yeah, but I'm cool too.
I'm cool too. That is such a... What kind of statement is that?
My fantasy world would be cool too, by extension of
okay,
it being my world, because I'm cool, you know?
Sure. So whatever Emmon Frey or whoever the Lord of River Run is now is
fucking,
he's crying about it, but Jenna sees him out, which is very much appreciated. And then Edmure and Jaime have a moment where Edmure's like, I hate seeing you where my dad used to sit. You suck. And Jaime's like, well, I could torture you once you get to Castle Rock if I wanted. And he's like, well, you promised you wouldn't. But I still can. And they do this whole thing. And it's like, okay, leave. But I did note that he says when Emmon Frey is escorted out, it just says Lady Jenna escorted her husband out. Where when Edmure leaves, it says the Lord of Riverrun went silently. So even in his head, Jaime's still thinking of him as the Lord of Riverrun, you know? Anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. There's it's the same thing as in the last chapter, he's trying so hard to be yeah, if Jenna could see me now, who would she be calling Tywin's real son? And even in this chapter, there's a little bit of that, but then you're in his thoughts and it's bro, you're a Stark loyalist, as you should, but come on, you've been converted. You're not on the Lannister side anymore. What are you yapping about, you know?
And that's I don't know if he's a Stark loyalist, no, but he definitely respects the people that still stand with the Starks more than the ones that converted to the Lannisters.
Yeah, that's definitely a better way to put it. But my way is more delusional. So it's
and hence better.
Exactly.
So he is thinking about, so Edmure is being sent to Castle Rock as was promised, and his wife is going, the Westerlings are going, and they're all he's I'm gonna send 100 people with him, and then later he's maybe I'll send 200 because I don't want them to be attacked by outlaws, and then in the end it ends up being 400. So
because he's just
they are well protected. We'll see if that is effective still, you know?
Oh my god.
And he's thinking about, like, the Blackfish, where he would go. Where do you think he's going to Catelyn? Do you think he's going to, like, the Wall? Do you think he's going to King's Landing? Or, like, what's he doing?
Well, I don't, like, where could he go? I think maybe he's gonna try to go back to the Eyrie or something, because that's the one other, like, that was his home for so long. But I think
that
along
actually
the
would
way,
be so interesting, because, like, Sansa's there now, and like
all the things, and like that. I feel like that could be really iconic, but I also he would need to find a way to, like, make that happen, you know, and like how
maybe that's the way Sansa finally gets back in touch with her family and all of that stuff.
Yeah, and like, but I feel like along the way though he'll get distracted by the outlaw Catelyn stuff. But maybe his intention will be to go back to the Eyrie.
Interesting. So Jaime's just kind of, like, pondering this when Lady Sybil Westerling and her daughter Jane Westerling, aka Jane Stark, aka Rob's wife, come in. And so Jane is not looking great. And, like, he's super worried that she might be pregnant, and that then, like, you know, there's an heir, and then the revolution lives and all of that stuff. And she's looking at him, and she's like, okay, so she's gotten like a scab on her forehead because she refused to give up her crown, like, as Rob's queen, and her mom had to, like, yank it off her.
Oh, Jane.
Which is sad. But let me draw your attention to one of those fan theories here. So, Jaime says she didn't look dangerous. Jane was a willowy girl, no more than 15 or 16, more awkward than graceful. She had narrow hips. Now, these 4 words have really just sent the fandom on, like, crazy theories, because...
Is it because Catelyn was like, her hips
she's
are
got good hips?
Dude.
So they're like,
so
this
funny.
is not Jane. This is Jane's sister. And Jane escaped with the Blackfish, and she is pregnant with Rob's child, and they are going to lead the revolution.
Dude.
Now, I personally think it's just George R. R. Martin made a little bit of a mistake, you know? Like, he doesn't remember how he described her back in the day. So he just, like, said narrow instead of good hips, like, whatever.
Right.
But when you don't have a book for 13 years,
I was gonna say,
you do some things, you know? You read 4 words and you're like, this is the entire story.
Dude,
now,
honestly, I really
like,
want
no
that
disrespect
to be
to
true.
the people that believe this, but, like, kind of disrespect to
You
the
know
people
what?
that believe this.
I kind of want to choose to believe this, just because, like, wouldn't this be fucking epic? And, like, it would also add, obviously, like, I'm happy that the Blackfish was, like, keeping them safe and doing all the things, even just being who he is, and, like, actually, and, you know, like, I even said multiple times, I was like, I'm glad that somebody is upholding all the shit that Rob went down for, like, you know what I mean? It was like, they raised him up to be king, but then it's like, you just let your king die and then don't even, you know? So I was so happy that the Blackfish was still doing the things, but this would kind of add to that too, where it would be like, there is still a revolution that I'm protecting, you know? And, like,
I think there is still a revolution, but I don't necessarily think that Jane and, like, a pregnancy, like a secret pregnancy, are part of it.
but wouldn't that be fucking cool?
Yeah, it would be cool. It's also, there's, like, other things here. So, her mom is, Jamie's like, oh, like, are you sure you're not pregnant? And her mom's like, I made sure of that. And then if you remember way back in the day when she was like, oh, my mom's giving me, like, fertility teas to make sure I get pregnant, but probably it was, like, moon tea to make sure she wouldn't get pregnant. Yeah.
That really
now there's
sucks.
other things. So Lady Sybil, it's mentioned in this, she is Maggie the Frog's like granddaughter or great granddaughter or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you picked up on that, right? Like she comes from the Spicers. Maggie the Frog
I
was
didn't know
married
that.
to a Spicer.
Didn't know that.
Well, there you go. Mind blown, right? So Maggie the Frog, prophet, right? Also the word, like the name Sybil means like prophet.
Ooh.
So it's like, what if she saw what was happening and then like is in on like what if she's actually supporting Jane and this scheme, but like outwardly looking like she's not, like this whole thing.
Dude, that's kind of cool.
I do think there may be more to them because of like the Maggie the Frog connection. I don't necessarily think that this is not Jane.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. There's just a lot of information there, and I'm just kind of throwing it at you because that's just kind of how it exists in my brain.
Yeah. That's cool.
But,
okay.
Right? So these are like some of those gems you don't realize when you're reading it, but then you're
like, because I guess I was gonna ask, I was gonna, because I have a note here that says, when it said Mad Witch Woman from the East, I have a note that says lore ?
Yes.
And then I was like, why did I write that? And then because I think I was just drawing from like, I was like, is this like a Melisandre connection or something? So I think I was just thinking of the wrong witchy woman from the East.
Mm-hmm.
But I do remember kind of being like, hey, wouldn't it be cool?
Yeah. So what it appears to be on the surface, and what I think mostly what it is that Sybil Westerling had this like whole scheme cooked up and potentially even kind of like manipulated Jane into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Jane was like an unwilling participant, like didn't realize that she was being used to kind of make this happen, and then like actually loved Rob, and all of that seems real to me. And she got like, you know, the Westerlings now have like their pardon for helping Rob, but also her brother Rolf Spicer is now Lord of Castamere, which I'm like, do you really want to be the lord of the place that like there's literally a song, like horrible song about, like genocidal song about? But whatever. I guess any lord is better than no lord. And she also, Tywin promised her marriages for her kids and all of that. And Jamie's like, yeah, that's cool.
Heirs. Like, it can't just be some guy, you know?
Exactly. But Jane has to wait a couple years to make sure she doesn't get pregnant and rumors don't spread that like that kid is Rob's and like all of that stuff.
Okay, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So like with this whole plan with Tywin, like now we know for certain that there was like a plan. Like I know before we were like, oh, it seems like the uncle was in on it, but we just like didn't have as much confirmation about the details. I guess now I kind of start to wonder like was this a plan that was formed by the time Rob showed up and him and Jane kind of hooked up or whatever?
Yeah, like did they ask,
or was
did they send Jane to him on purpose?
Or was it like the Jane stuff happened, Rob fucked up, and maybe like clearly Lady Sybil, clearly Lady Sybil is like cunning and shit. So maybe like she kind of went into it being like, oh yeah, Jane, why don't you go? Like maybe there was some intentions there, but it wasn't already a Lannister plan. Like maybe later it became a so I wonder, I guess I just wonder the order of events.
It's not clear. She didn't know the Red Wedding was gonna happen the way the Red Wedding happened, because like one of her kids got killed there, right? Mm-hmm. But there was they were already in cahoots with Tywin by the time the Red Wedding happened, right? It wasn't after the fact that the Red Wedding happened, because she was already making sure that Jane wouldn't get pregnant and all of those things. Yeah,
but I think especially her saying, if I'd known what was to happen there, I would have never allowed that sort of thing. But like, I feel like that could just be, like, just because she
Yeah,
didn't
but
know
Tai
the
Win was
specifics.
sending, like, he wouldn't be sending, like, make a red wedding, like, very obvious, like, letters, you know? Only kind of, like, on a need-to-know basis, like,
Yeah.
he tells Frey to take care of Stark, and then to Sybil, he says,
They'll be
betray
taken care of.
Stark and you'll be rewarded, you know,
Yeah.
like that kind of thing.
And I agree with you, and that's exactly what I was going to say, where I'm like, I don't think that her saying, I didn't know what was going to happen there, has to indicate to us that she wasn't, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that doesn't tell us anything about the timeline, because that might have, like you said, just been a confidentiality thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I guess I'm still just, like, because it could very well be, like, she was just being opportunistic, but it also could have been, like, a Tywin master plan
like,
sort of thing.
This, I don't know how I feel about it, but it, you know, like, if you look at it the way that, like, from the beginning it was a plot, then it, like, really excuses Rob for making the mistakes he made, you know? And I can see being tempted to want that. You know, you can be like, oh, Rob didn't lose the war. He was, like, actively plotted against.
But I don't think that does. Because he's still, like, fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that, like, sure, he was being plotted against, and maybe, like, since the plan was already in action, even if he hadn't, like, been alone with her or whatever, like, maybe they would have found a way to still make it happen. But I feel like because of the way things went down, like, I think that Rob still, like, did fuck up. Like, I don't think that this being a plan excuses
Oh, I agree.
that.
I think, like, Rob needs to take responsibility for these actions. I'm saying that, like, some of the people that believe that it was a plot from the beginning like to believe it because
it that way, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I see.
Yeah,
Like, as
I'm
much
not
as
saying
I love
agree
Rob,
with it, but it's
like, he done fucked up. Like,
exactly. I think even whether there was a plot or not, like, you know, he really was just too honorable, and if like they knew that he would be so easy to manipulate, like, that in itself is a huge weakness, you know? Like, if they knew that they could just, like, get you to spend a night with our daughter, and we know you'll have to marry her, and then obviously it's gonna, like, all of this, like, you know?
And, like, you wouldn't have instantly been like, hey, actually, maybe can we get, like, yeah, it's hard. But then there also is that, it's like that honorability being the fucking Stark's downfall shit. But then it also is like, it's hard because I kind of get it, because it's like, you know, he was injured, he was like, there was a lot going on there, he was probably medicated and on drugs, I think we knew that, like, so there's a lot going on there, so it's not necessarily like, oh, Rob, like, you went out of your way and found a girl and then was like, I had to uphold it, but there is still a little bit of responsibility of, like, but you still chose to break the alliance, like, you weren't thinking, like, what's
you
more
could
important.
Have not married her, like, it wouldn't be the honorable thing to do, but it's
like,
know,
some of the decisions you have
but
to
also
make, like what Ned made
my
at the
argument
end of his
to all of this is Freys are still slippery bastards, and they would have found a reason to betray him anyway.
Yeah, that's true. So I do get that part of it, but it just is like, and then it calls into question, like, should we have even made that alliance? But then it's like, the Freys wouldn't have let us keep going if we wouldn't have. Maybe we should have tried to negotiate less, but it's also like, maybe it wouldn't have worked. So maybe this is all just a moot point, and it's fine, and things happen the way that they did.
Just conversations. Okay, moving on.
Sorry, one more thought. But the fact that, the thing that does make me think that it was pre-planned, though, is the fact that the Westerlings are one of the Lannisters' houses. So it's like, if I was, like, under the Lannister banner, why would I go out of my way to be like, hey, my daughter, you know who my daughter should seduce? Robb Stark. Like, I get that he had that, like, King in the North designation,
but, like, maybe nobody planned on a seduction. Maybe it just happened.
Like, maybe it just happened. Yeah, but it just, like, and then I guess maybe they were just, like, being smart about it. Like, oh, okay, if we're, like, we should try and get back on the good side of the Lannisters. Let's let him know that this is a tactic or like whatever. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Ugh, poor Rob, bro.
Yeah, maybe like Lady Sybil was playing like both sides. Like,
yeah,
she was
it's
like,
true.
you know, making sure Jane doesn't get pregnant in case the Lannisters win, but also like Jane still Rob's queen in case Rob wins. So
yeah,
win-win either way.
weird.
Yeah. So her son, what's Reynald is the one who was potentially killed at the Red Wedding. There's another Rollum. I'm sorry, I'd forgotten all of these names. And Reynald is supposed to marry Joy. I think this is the first time we've actually like seen somebody talk about Joy, because she is mentioned in like the appendix, like from book 1 probably. But Joy is Garyon Lannister's daughter. It was like Jaime's uncle, and I think both Jaime and Tyrion's favorite uncle.
Oh yeah.
But he like disappeared several years ago, but he has this daughter who's like 9 or 10 years old, but now she's being betrothed to one of these Westerlings, and she's like, Sybil is like, oh, a bastard, how beneath us. And he's like, no, you're right, it shouldn't happen because she deserves better. Yeah, no more. You want a Westerling to wed a bastard? No more than I want Joy to marry the son of some scheming turncloak bitch. She deserves better. So,
like,
and then
you're really not on the side of the Starks, huh, Jaime?
Yeah, and
really
immediately he's like, your
side?
daughter is worth 10 of you, because he clearly has more respect for the person that keeps faith than the one who doesn't, but also that probably has something to do with his own trauma with Cersei and all of that, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, this whole chapter was like, I got cheated on and now it's affecting me.
Yeah, so he basically like, get out, and she leaves, and that's the end of that conversation. So they leave the next day. They're still looking for the Blackfish. He like rides with the party that's escorting everybody to Castle Rock for a little bit, making sure that, so they've got like archers trained on Edmure just in case he tries to escape, like better dead than escaped, he says. And then he tells them to do the same thing for Jane, because she also can pose a threat as Rob's queen. So that's what's happening here. Mm-hmm. And then he finally returns. He's like coming back to camp, but instead of going back to, I guess he's in Riverrun now, but like going back to the castle, he goes to the Frey camp, and most of them have packed up. But
wait, sorry, one last thing. Before he leaves Jane, he notices that her clothes were like nice clothes, but they were torn, which she did.
Ripped them forward to express her mourning. Yeah. She's like, if
really
you're not going to get me a black dress, I'm going to make me a black dress, basically.
And it just, once again, this was the same feeling as like Brynden still standing up for Rob. Like, it just is nice to be like,
yeah,
you know, there's like a quiet revolution, you know, and maybe one day it can come to fruition.
Maybe not so quiet. A revolution also brewing. But we'll talk about that. So,
but like, and he's like, he found himself wondering if Cersei would tear her gown if she should ever hear that he was dead.
Ugh.
So this whole chapter is just Jaime struggling with the Cersei stuff.
Yeah, but he seems to have come to a conclusion by the end of it, so.
Yeah.
He gets to the Frey camp, and Edwin Frey and Walder Rivers are there, and they're upset because Ryman Frey, the guy Jaime sent packing, got killed, hanged with all of his party on the way to the towers. And oh, that's so sad, but really it's not. But he's like, oh yeah, these outlaws are getting bold if they're like doing this within an arm's reach of the twins, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's
almost as if they knew
exactly when they were leaving, and there was like a mole among us, and Edwin is like, it's my brother's mole, and he wanted my dad dead, and then now he wants me dead so that he can be heir. But we know it's Thomas Evans, right? Like,
yeah.
Maybe it's also that, but we definitely know about Tom.
Yeah. And also with fucking with Edwin, you know what's so wild? I still remember, like, do you remember, what was his fucking name? Merritt? The guy who we first saw the Catelyn stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Merritt, right? And I remember him talking about how he was like 7th in line or some shit, you know?
Right.
And then now this guy is like, oh yeah, after they murdered Merritt and blah blah blah. Like, or I guess I'm assuming things here, but I'm assuming that, okay, so now all the people that have died off, now we're all the way down to like Edwin and shit, and I'm just like, bro, the amount of Freys that are dying off, and little did we think at the beginning of the series that like that many Freys
there would be a shortage of Freys.
yeah, and it's just so funny to be like,
I think Merritt was actually lower on the hierarchy.
Right, because Edwin was the kid of like the main guy.
Edwin was the kid of Ryman, was the kid of Stravos or something like that. Like,
yeah.
That
like
this
makes sense.
Whole thing. But yes, the Freys do be dying off.
Yeah.
And so Jaime's like, okay, that's super sad, but like I have a task for you, which is to free all, or like he says, King Tommen requires all the captives you took at the Red Wedding.
Oh my god.
And they're like, well, you know, those are expensive prisoners, and I'm sure my father will have expectations for what's it called, ransoms and all that. And Jaime's like, yes, we all have expectations.
Oh my god.
And then he asks whether Ryland Westerling, oh my god, these names, Ryland Westerling is among the captives, and this is where we hear that he was out in the yard and he like freed Grey Wind.
Oh.
And yeah, he tried, but he was shot a couple times, and he eventually like went over the bridge into the river, and they like, who knows whether he died or not? Like, there were a billion bodies. How can you tell?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what happened with him. And Jaime's like, oh, that's too bad.
Maybe the Brotherhood found him. Helped him. And we're like, hey.
Maybe, who knows? Yeah, like maybe he'll show up and we'll be like, oh, where's this guy? Right. And maybe he'll expose whether it's really Jane or Jane's sister or what. You know?
I love our version of these stories too.
Our version, or like the fan version?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay, yeah. So then it's like everybody's leaving, the River Lords are also leaving, and somebody's like, hey, what are we gonna do with all these like trebuchets and all like siege towers and shit that they build? And Jaime's like, somebody suggests like dragging it to Raventree, to the Blackwoods, because they still haven't kneeled. And Jaime's like, no, I don't need this stuff, I'm just gonna talk to him. Or like, I'll deal with him, right? And then so just burn it. I'm like, wait, that seems like a major waste of resources, right? Like,
yeah,
you don't have to take it to Raventree, but just maybe like drag it into Riverrun and like
have some defenses and shit. Like, yeah,
just like have it as backup. Or if you don't need the machinery itself, the wood. It's winter is coming, dude. Like, keep the wood for burning. Why?
Yeah, these people are fucking unprepared for everything.
Yeah, like, I get you don't want to leave them out there for anybody else to besiege you. I get that. Just tear it down into little, like, firewood. Like, you know?
Yeah, do something.
So this felt like a wild decision to me, but it was such a minor, like, nothing in the chapter that it's completely overlooked. But for me, it gave me pause.
Yeah.
So then he goes and practices.
Same as, like, yeah, it was in this chapter, right, when he's talking about, like, oh, dude, winter's fucking coming, and, like, we're so unprepared. So it really, I feel like it was just another way of, like, y'all are focusing on the wrong things and making the wrong decisions out here.
Yeah. So he then goes and practices with Sir Ilyn, and it's one of his better nights, because he would have only died twice rather than the 5 or 6 times that he usually dies in these fights. And then he's like,
Beautiful.
you know, they're drinking buddies, and he's telling all his stuff, and like he just spills it all out. There's nothing he doesn't tell this guy.
Is so funny. I'm like,
and
dude,
sure, he
you're
can't
literally
talk and he
everything.
can't read or write, but maybe he can gesture. Like,
Yeah. He can let people know about the Cersei stuff. Like, are you sure, dude?
yeah, and he's like talking about like, what should I do with Cersei? And Sir Alan like draws a finger across his throat gesture.
Oh my god.
And Jaime's like, no, Tommen would hate that, and it would give the High Towers too much. And then Sir Ilan smiles, and Jaime's like, you talk too much. Shut up. Like,
Oh my god.
So then it's then he hears the next day about one of the parties that's out looking for the Blackfish is back, but they didn't find him. Instead, they were attacked by wolves. And a pack of wolves led by a dire wolf. And Jaime's like, I wonder if this is Arya's dire wolf. And like for the first time, somebody's actually like putting that together. So it was nice.
Dude, iconic.
But then, so he's like, it's fine, bandage your wounds, get out there again, basically.
I can't believe he even like remembers that. Like, that's so funny.
Well, don't you remember recently when he was at Derry, he remembers Cersei intensely having sex with him and being like, I want you to go kill Arya.
Oh, wait.
Remember he had a recent reflection about that whole thing?
Oh shit, I forgot about that. Yeah, and he was like, bro, I would have done it if
and
they
I would have
hadn't
totally
found
done
the
it.
fucking
Yeah.
wolf. Yeah, dude. Wild.
Yeah. And so what else happens? Some guy is like, I want a strong boar. I don't remember who that is, but it's one of his guys. I don't know. It's like, I don't want to go home. I'm going to go after the hound. So I'm going to kill him. And he's like, feel free. But if you find Beric Dondarrion, make sure you bring him back to King's Landing and kill him in front of a bunch of people, like 1,000 people, so that they for sure realize that he's dead.
Oh
I do like that, like this whole, like, is it mythos or like this kind of story that's formulated around Dondarrion, and we know he couldn't die for a while, and but it's interesting.
Yeah, it's cute little lore.
Yeah, and he's reflecting on his whole thing, and he's like, yeah, I did the thing, and I didn't have to fight the Tullys or the Starks. I just had to threaten their babies with trebuchets. It's no big deal.
Oh, God.
And then he's like, should I go back to King's Landing? Like, would Tommen want to know I'm his dad? Like,
dude, wild.
Would he even believe me? Cersei wouldn't, like,
would you
stand
sooner
for
have
it.
a father or a chair, lad? Bro.
And Jaime's like, I wish I knew the answer. I don't even know.
Dude. He just wants his cats, bro. Like, someone to hang out with.
He does reflect that Tommen's got to be taken away from Cersei.
Yeah, do you remember that one moment where, like, Cersei was being mean, and then Jaime went and was like, hey, Tommen.
Yeah. Because at the funeral, like, Tommen, like, nearly threw up at, what's-his-face, Tywin's funeral, and Cersei was like, oh, you're an embarrassment, and Jaime was like, it's okay, just, like, pretend it's not happening. And he's like, I used to with Joffrey.
Oh, yeah, that shit was crazy. Oh.
And he's like, we gotta replace, we gotta get a good hand in there. Like, if Cersei can be taken down, maybe Kevin can be hand, but if not him, then all these people, maybe even Peter Baelish can be hand.
I was like,
as amiable as he was clever, but too lore-born to threaten any of the great lords with no swords of his own, the perfect hand. It amazes me just how incorrect everybody's perception of Littlefinger is. They're just like, he's just like this harmless little person. Like, no big deal.
Literally, what the fuck is he on about? Like, Jaime, come on, buddy. Catch up. Like, things been happening.
There was another Littlefinger mention in this chapter when Edmure is reminiscing about like being a kid and like building
and he's like, I used to hang
block
out with
castles.
Littlefinger. Oh, I see.
That was weird.
I never connected those dots. You know what I mean? Because you always hear about him hanging out with the girls, but
Yeah.
it makes sense that him and Edmure were probably buddies too.
Yeah. Yeah. So he then lets like the Tully garrison go, and they can like take, you know, their clothes, and they can take 3 days worth of food, but like they're on their own after that. Some of them, especially like the master at arms and the captain of guards, they're like, this is our home. We have nowhere else to go, so we'll just go to the wall. Yeah. And for them, he lets them keep their armor and arms, and also sends an escort with them to Maidenpool so that they can ship all the way to the wall. So that's nice of them.
We're getting some people at the wall again.
Yeah, but the person who's in charge of that escort is Raph the Sweetling, if you remember. Terrible guy, torture guy. But Jaime does make it clear that if this doesn't go well, things won't go well for him either. Yeah. What Gregor did to the goat will seem a jolly lark compared to what I'll do to you.
Oh, God.
Which, he's good at these threats, but I wonder, would he, knowing what we know about Jaime, would he be willing to make good on any of these threats? Would he have thrown Edmure's baby over the walls with a trebuchet?
I don't think so. I feel like some of them.
You know what? I kind of agree with you, and I kind of fear the day somebody calls him out on it.
Yeah, I
like
agree.
Somebody calls his bluff.
Yeah, I think
maybe he would torture this guy because they suck anyway.
I think I agree with that assessment, where it's like certain ones he wouldn't and certain ones he would. Yeah, this is kind of my like the fear that I've always had of like Jaime's gonna get exposed and then they're all gonna turn on him. So yeah, I have the same fear. I hope it doesn't happen, but it might. Especially like
I guess if fake Cersei, it well enough.
Yeah, literally. Especially if Cersei manages to survive this situation, right? And let's say like Cersei like stays a figure for a while at least, then there's kind of this thing of like, I feel like she would absolutely try and use that against him and be like, this guy isn't fucking credible. Like, she would absolutely turn on him and be like, you know? And then I mean,
she already has.
Yeah, but like, she hasn't publicly been like, my fucking brother, you know? And like, then it like, it's just further like ruining Jaime's credibility, and then other people are gonna feel even more comfortable questioning him, sort of thing.
Right. I mean, they were bickering in front of their dad's dead body.
Yeah.
In front of everybody. So,
yeah.
Anyway. Then it's several more days pass. It's like every other, like, the paragraph is like, the next day, or the next day, or next few days. Like, so eventually things settle down, and now it's Lord Emmon Frey's turn to rule the castle. And he goes on for 3 hours telling people what kind of place this is gonna be and what he expects of them. And it's just like this.
Bro, how has Jenna been with this man for so many years? Like,
I mean, yeah, this is what happens when people don't get to choose what they want with their lives.
Like, this Jenna boy, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck, boy?
But now she's Lady of Riverrun. Maybe she can, I don't know, run her own
her shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
yeah.
But okay, so then as this whole speech thing is happening, because like, who has the patience for this? Jaime spots Thomas Evans, and they get talking, and you know, apparently Tom's plan is to like hang out at Riverrun, and it's winter here basically, and he's disappointed when he learns that Jaime is leaving soon and all of that. And yeah, he also tells Tom to like ingratiate himself with Jenna because she's the one who really matters. and all of that stuff. And okay, so Tom is staying here, and we know he's with the Brotherhood and all of that. I'll just sum it up with the theory is that Catelyn and the Brotherhood are planning like basically another red wedding, but it's going to be the Freys at River Run.
Ooh.
The only thing I don't like about that, I mean, I don't want another red wedding of anybody.
Yeah, we don't need another.
But especially if Jenna gets caught up in it, you know?
I see.
But that is the whole, like, that's like the revolution that's brewing is basically...
Okay.
They've got them surrounded. Everybody, like, Jaime and the army's gonna leave.
That makes sense. But I guess my thing was, like, they're already basically doing, like, that's basically already happening. You know what I mean? Like, sure, well, it's not as like high they're picking it off. They're not having, like, an actual, like, whole big hullabaloo, sort of like thing, an event. Yeah, and... Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Oh my god. Okay. Well... It'll be interesting to see how Brynden tackles that.
Well, if he's involved with that at all.
Yeah.
Like, maybe but, he's like, in the Eyrie by then.
Yeah, but, like, in my theory, I'm like, he meets up with them and then is like, well, how's this gonna go, sort of thing, you know? And I also wonder if he did, what Tom said to Edmure, like, in that tent when he played for him and he was like, no, not him. Like, I wonder if it was like a, hey buddy, just go with it.
That's true. We haven't talked about that, but yes, what we're gonna do. Like,
you know,
was it just like he enjoyed torturing Edmure again, or did he like take the opportunity to tell Edmure something, or was he like, get the blackfish out and we'll take care of the rest? Like, what was the whole thing?
Because especially with Edmure, like, as much as, like, I'm glad he's still alive and shit, he's just not particularly useful for shit like this, you know? So it's, like, obviously, it's, like, you want to comfort him to make sure he doesn't go off the rails and, like, try and do something wrong. But how much do you tell him, you know? So, I don't know.
So, that's interesting. And, so... That's the end of that conversation. That night, Jaime has this interesting dream where he sees himself standing vigil at his dad's funeral or corpse or whatever in the sept, and he sees like a silent sister walk in, and he thinks it's Cersei, but it's not Cersei, it's his mom. And he's like, oh, you know, this is a dream. And she's like, is it? Count your hands. Because in his dreams, he always has two hands. But this time, he only has one hand. So he's like, is it a dream? Is it a dream? Or like, have his dream devolved to now realize that he only has one hand? Like, what's the deal? And she's like, we all dream of things we can't have. Tywin dreamed that his son would be a great knight and that his daughter would be a queen. He dreamed they would be so strong and brave and beautiful that no one would ever laugh at them. I'm a knight, he told her, and Cersei is a queen. A tear rolled down her cheek. So, I don't know. It's, you know, symbolism and all of that, but it's just like a realization of, oh, I'm not who people wanted me to be. If I'm not somebody who people want me to be, then who am I? That kind of thing. Yeah. So he wakes up shivering.
And it's also that thing of like, you know, in his dreams, like he always has two hands, and like now the dream is like,
he only had the one.
Like, it's almost
so
like
is it not a dream? Is it like a visit from the dead?
I don't think so. Like, I was thinking it's more like, wait, sorry, 1 second. I'm just gonna plug in. Wait, hold on. Headphone fucking did a thing, bro. These headphones. Okay, hold on.
Are they in two? Oh, they're like literally in two pieces now.
Yeah. Hold on.
You could have at least taped it.
Yeah, but I was busy trying not to get up, okay? Because I was like, I don't want to record. I'm tired. Okay, hold on. Okay.
No, I don't want to record. I'm tired. That's my line.
Well, we were doing a morning recording, so it was also my line today. I was like, why the fuck did I suggest 10:30 a.m.? But it's okay. It's okay. We made it. Anyway, what I was gonna say, oh my god, I had a really smart thought. Please let me remember it. Oh, yes, okay. So his dream is like, in a way, it's like, okay, there's like the sense of like acceptance, and like his dream is like realizing what's actually going on, right? And then at the end of this chapter, it's like basically epic breakup moment. He rejects Cersei, you know, for like almost the first time in his life, like this outright rejection. So maybe it's just kind of this sense of like getting real with yourself. And then also the thing with like his mom, like when he says, can I forget someone I never know? Like he did know her, but it had been so long. So clearly it's like, these are all the things that you don't like to think about and that you try to shove down that you're now accepting, you know? Because I feel like by saying, in my dreams I always have two hands, it's like that implication that his dreams, you know, some people use dreams to like sort out their thoughts. Some people use dreams to like just dream and kind of like escapism. So maybe this is a sense of like just him getting down, him getting real finally. And finally cracking down on the things that he needs to change, you know? Like, maybe think about your mom more. Maybe reject Cersei. Maybe accept that you have one hand now, you know?
I like that. So he wakes up having dreamt this dream, and it's super cold, and he walks up to the window, and he realizes it's snowing. And if it's snowing in River Run, that means winter is here.
Dude.
And he's looking at it, and he's like, oh shit, we're not gonna have any more harvests, and most of our, like, half our granaries are empty because war and bullshit, so now people are gonna starve and die, and yay.
Sorry. Wait, yeah. Sorry, I have a thought after. But yeah, it, like, same thing, where it's like, it's kind of that extension of, like, finally getting real about what the problems are and shit. Like, because I feel like every...
He's probably being like, I wish I hadn't burned all of those.
Yeah, literally. Like,
all that wood yesterday.
Literally. And, like, especially... And, like, I'm not trying to blame everything on Cersei or anything,
check
but, like...
the weather forecast before I did stuff. Sorry.
No, you're good. But it's kind of like, not blaming everything on Cersei, but just saying that a lot of the recent fires that Jaime has been trying to put out have been a lot of Cersei problems, and Cersei being like, go do this, you know? And so there hasn't really been... And before that, he was like a fucking captive, or like, right before the Cersei shit started, he got his hand fucking cut off, and then right before that, it was like the captivity shit. Like, boy has been going through a lot recently, so it makes sense that, like, only now... when he's kind of, like, he's been here and he's kind of slowly been trying to solve the problems and he's kind of feeling accomplished, now he kind of has the space to be like, oh wait, it's fucking snowing, or like, oh wait, maybe this whole Cersei bullshit, I do need to break up with her, like, all of that. So it's nice that our homie can now actually have the space to, like, really think about what's going on and deal with it, you know? And, like, that also makes sense to me, because then, of course, now he finally... has the space to, like, think about his mom. And also there's that sense of, like, they've never had their mom, and they've basically never really had a father. Like, they've had a dad, but not really, like, a father, you know? But it's like, so it's like, these are the only two that they've had. So it also makes sense where it's like, now it's like, hey, I'm breaking up with Cersei, so I'm gonna, you know, mentally find my way back to, like, maybe my mom, or, like... You know, because especially with, like, the Tyrion
other
stuff,
people
like,
to connect
he ain't
to.
got... Yeah, and, like, Tommen. So it's like, who's he got now? Like, Tommen and his mom? Like, that's kind of all he got is in his thoughts, you know? So,
yeah, I mean,
kind of his loved ones.
He does have a daughter who's over in Dorne that nobody ever remembers.
Oh, wait, yeah, he literally never even thinks about her. I totally forgot about that, too. That's true. So, yeah.
So... then the maester comes in with a message, And he's like, oh yeah, I get it. Like the white raven's here, winter is here, whatever. It's fine. But the maester's like, actually, this is from King's Landing, and I'm sorry I read your DM. I didn't think it was a DM. I thought it was like a group DM.
Oh my god.
It was like a group chat. So I took a look at it, and he hands it to
So
Jaime,
funny.
and it's Cersei's letter, with Qyburn like explaining the situation, but then Cersei saying the whole like, come at once, help me, save me. I need you now as I have never needed you before. I love you, I love you, I love you. Come at once. And he just like sits in the window looking out and thinks for a while until like it's been so long that the maester is finally like, are you gonna write a response? And he folds it back up, gives it to his squire, and says, nope, put this in the fire.
Dude.
Yeah, I'm trying to make up for all the wood I burned unnecessarily. Let's use some. Sorry.
Can you imagine? That's our interpretation. That's so funny. I love that, actually.
One tiny piece of paper. Yeah. But he seems to have just said no to Cersei. Like, no.
And that's on that.
Yeah, so that was Cersei's last hope. Now what?
I'm cool with that.
So she's just gonna rot in the cells?
She might just have to get fucking one of the other guys to fight for her, and they can't fight for shit, so she's screwed. And honestly, I'm not mad about it.
Right. I wonder, okay, so does Marjorie still have to stand trial? And
Oh wait,
so,
I also was gonna say, I think that Jaime said, like, no, put this in a fire. But I think he might end up back at King's Landing anyway, because it might be that decision of, like, I'm going for Tommen. Like, if he loses his mom. And, like, that sort of shit.
Right, but wouldn't he have said something in response?
I don't think so. I think
like,
it's just
I'm coming back, but it's not for you, it's for Tommen, you know?
I don't think that's necessary. Because then I think he would have anticipated, well, now she's going to write back and be annoying. Like, I think if he's going
he's got to go back
to
strangle her to death at some point.
That too. But I think it'll be like he'll be like, okay, let's deal with the granaries. Let's, like, what else is he trying to do? What's his mission? What was he planning to do?
He's got to go
this?
Talk to the Blackwoods and, like, find the blackfish, all the black things.
So he might, like, try and do some of those things, but then realize that the situation is getting pretty bad and he needs to go back to make sure
Right.
that, like,
also, remember when
anything.
Brienne was tasked with killing him?
Yeah. We'll see how that goes.
Will we?
Yes, oh, well, who knows? Oh, God. I swear to God, if these books fucking end, bro, like, no wonder y'all are still mad about this. Like, I totally get it. Like, I remember kind of being like, okay, like, just move on with your life. Like, but now I'm like, you know what? When you invest so much into this series, like, you know what I mean? Because usually when, like, series don't end up finishing, like, they're not this long, they're not this extensive, like, you can just kind of move on.
And they're often not this good either.
Well, I don't know if I would say that, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, with this one, it's very, like, okay, like, we have something here, why isn't it complete? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Jaime might go back to King's Landing, but maybe he'll be around for a while. I don't know. Let's move on to the next chapter. We've already almost hit the hour and a half limit I set for us. Okay, so Sam. They are on the final leg of their journey, but these last few days, weeks have been perilous because there be pirates out here. And they almost, like, get robbed one time, but they, like, shoot arrows and make it, like, obvious that they're not easy prey, so then they get spared. But then they also have to, like, eventually when they get close enough to Old Town, they go through, like, a bunch of inspections and stuff. And they're like, this is a lot. But they learn that the Ironborn have been wreaking havoc, but also like trying to sneak by. They dyed their beards and tried to pretend to be Tyroshi, but then some guy was like, hey, in Tyroshi, but nobody knew what he was saying, so then they got exposed. God. Which is like such a it's like a comedy, like it's like a comedy movie move, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
What are we, like a sitcom? Like,
yes, absolutely.
Gilly is feeling better. She's gotten attached to this kid as well, and it's they pass like lots of wreckage, and I think I've forgotten what the crow's eyes like flag was, but it's like a red eye with a black pupil. Yeah. And an iron crown with 2 crows on it. I think the crown is maybe a new addition because he's now king, but I don't know. So they pass it and they're like, who's that? They don't know, but we know. So this is what... Also, we also have not checked in with the iron people in so long.
In like this whole second half of this book? Yeah, something like that.
So we know what Euron is up to. Like, this is... Victarion was supposed to be, like... Wasn't he, like, going on a journey to get Dany or something?
Yeah,
Who knows where he's at? So
and, like,
Euron's
if the mage
here,
is gonna show up at the same... Yeah.
Yeah, and where's Aeron? And where's Asha? Like, who knows? So many unanswered questions.
And maybe because of, like... Yeah, there's so much fucking going on. And also with, like, the whole Jaqen thing...
Yeah.
Maybe, like, we don't know if, like, the Jaqen-Euron connection is over. Do you know what I mean? Like,
we don't even know if it's real. We just kind of, like...
made that up. But, like, okay, if it's real, we don't know if it's over. So is Euron, like, hey,
is
Victarion's gonna get there before...
Of the city?
Yeah, like, is he trying to send Victarion there before the mage gets there? Like, who knows what, and who can even know what, is my biggest question for this chapter. Because it really is like, okay, because I also, okay, not to get ahead of myself, but I just have so many questions about who the fuck knows what the fuck. Because, okay, Alaris, clearly, like, you know, like, the mage's little helper, like, something going on there, but then there's also that connection with Pate/Jaqen, but then I'm like, if the mage can see shit, does the mage know the connection? Does the mage not know the connection? Does the mage know about Euron? Does the Euron know about the mage? Like, there's just so much going on. Like, I don't even know who knows what, and also there's so many people. I'm so glad that we have Dany chapters next book, because we have so much fucking Dany shit, where it's like, Doran's like, yeah, my son's gonna go find fucking Dany, and then, like, Victoria's gonna go find Dany, but then, like, fucking, who's this guy? Mage is gonna go find, like, there's just so much, so maybe
the next book is just, like, a long list of people that want an audience with Daenerys.
It's just Dany having to hold court for, like, years and years and years, and then, like, because she's holding so much court and just sitting in one place for hours every day, she gets super out of shape because she's not doing anything else, and then she has to, like, now she has to go fight.
Out so nowhere. No, but now she gets, like, a desk treadmill. She's gonna be fine.
The dragon is her desk treadmill while she's listening to everyone. She's like, the dragon's like jumping in place. Anyway, yeah, I just have so many fucking questions about, like, what's even happening, and then, like, what does Alaris know? Literally, what does Alaris know? Does Alaris just know what the mage and Sam know? Who knows? What do other archmaesters know? Because the mage, sorry, I'm so ahead of myself. Okay, wait, hold on.
It seems like they know things, but they don't want to know them or want anyone else to know them.
Yeah, so then I'm like, okay, so then they're trying to, like, stop this, like, kind of quell everything going on. But then, like, but how much do they know? How much are they learning against their will?
I'm sorry, you said quell, and I'm, like, just so wired for the Hunger Games that, like, all I heard was quarter quell.
Yes, they're organizing a quarter quell. They need to figure out who they're victors
who
are.
the tributes are.
Yeah.
It's basically like a list of tributes going to meet Danny.
Stop, that's so funny. The Hunger Games, but the cornucopia is just Danny and her dragons.
Yeah.
Oh god. Oh my god, guys, I'm so excited for Hunger Games.
Okay,
Well,
so
it's gonna be out by the time we do this, but that's fine.
is it? Oh, wait. It'll have come out like the day before this episode comes out. So
yeah.
hope y'all are enjoying it. Tell me how it is.
Yeah.
I won't get to read it until the weekend, so don't tell me how it is actually.
Yeah. Don't talk about it. Just like talk about it once we bring it up.
Yeah. Just label all your spoilers, all of that. Okay. No. Yeah, who knows what? I don't know. Let's move on. So they they're talking about like what are the high towers doing in response to all this?
Fucking nothing.
So basically they're like hunkering down, like they're trying to recruit people, they're trying to like do all that stuff, but until the red wine fleet comes back, they really can't do much. Mm-hmm. And Lord Main Hightower, what's his name? Leighton Hightower, he apparently has locked himself up in the tower with the Mad Maid. This was giving Melisandre, right? Like,
oh my god, yeah.
Like, you know, like the Lord with like his own like main witch person, like
yeah, absolutely.
And they're like concocting spells and shit. I want like, and how do the Archmaesters feel about that? You know?
Yeah.
So, like, just like random nuggets of information thrown in there.
Yes.
And Sam is wondering what he's like, how he's gonna take care of Gilly, because he's like, if this is how bad it is here, is it gonna be even worse in Hornhill, like where he plans to take Gilly? Maybe she should just hang out in Old Town, but I can't have her with me. Like, I'm gonna be an acolyte. But then maybe she should just go back with the Summer Islanders to the Summer Isle and like be happy there. But who knows if she'll even get there? Like all these questions. And I think he eventually decides on like renting he's gonna at some point rent a cart, go down to Hornhill, check it out, and if it's good, leave her there. If not, bring her back, I think is his plan. And so they finally get to Old Town. More inspections. They're like, okay, Gilly, hang out here on the ship for a day. I'm gonna go sign in, basically. And he like finds his way to the Citadel, and we know he's been here, but like he's from the Reach. People know his dad, people know him, and he's like, people know my dad, but they don't really like him. So I don't know if it's better to like run into his friends or his enemies. Like it's all just bad. God.
Yeah.
So he finally gets to the Citadel to meet the Seneschal. Like this is like the first point of contact second point of contact. There's like a guard person in front, like a clerk who's lets people in, and Sam goes and is like, hey, I'm here for the meeting, like let me in, let me know I'm here on a walk-in, I don't have an appointment, like all of that. And the guy's like, okay, fine, go sit down. And then like 20 people come in and get their turn and leave, and 20 more come in, and Sam's like, what is happening here? But the guy just won't let him go in. And this is when Alaris shows up, because also Sam is kind of dozed off at one point because it's been so long. So Alaris shows up and he's like, you gotta bribe the guy, you gotta give him a penny, otherwise you're gonna be here for days. And Sam's like, oh yeah. And then like they get talking and they introduce each other, and like Alaris is like, oh, I'm Alaris, some call me the Sphinx. And Sam's like, wait, the Sphinx of the riddle, not the Riddler. Like this was the thing that Maester Aemon said.
Yeah.
I do think it was maybe about this, because you know, like Alaris is Sorella, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But Sam like straight up asks him and like, are you the riddle or the Riddler? Like, do you know what that means? And Alaris is just like, oh, that's weird. Why don't you tell me your life story? And then he's like, oh yeah, I came here with Aemon, but he died. And Alaris is like, wait, Aemon Targaryen? Like, tell me more. And we we get confirmation that Aemon was literally the oldest living maester, an oldest man in Westeros.
That is wild. And like nobody like knew this. Like this is just wild to me that people weren't like there's no like Guinness Book of World Records.
Later we learned that they do recognize his importance, but they let him rot at the wall purposefully because they didn't want him and his to like come out and be known.
And that makes sense, but it still to me is just like, sure, the people here know, but like there's gotta be pockets of people who know. And it's just wild to me that there isn't.
I don't know, because like if you don't hear from somebody for a while, you just assume they're dead. Like,
yeah, you're not gonna be like they're the longest
IG,
man.
Like,
yeah, you're not like he must be the oldest man on Earth by now. Like,
yeah,
it makes sense to me, especially after they explained it. But it just still seems really weird, you know?
Yeah, but this is the Westeros times. Like, the newspaper only comes out once every 20 years. Like, it's not very up to date.
Yeah.
20 years ago, Maester Aemon was a young man in his 80s. Like,
LOL. You know? That's so funny.
So he, like, Sam basically spills everything. Except about Bran being alive and about Jon having switched the babies. But other than that, he tells everything. And also about how Aemon was convinced that Daenerys is our only hope and she has to be sent to Maester to advise her and bring her home and all of that. And Alleras is like, okay, that's great, except nobody's going to believe you here, so come with me instead. And I'll get you to an Archmaester that'll actually listen to you. And so they go to the Ravenry, which is the oldest building in the Citadel. It kind of makes, I don't know, it just makes sense that this would be where he is. Yeah. But they're going to go see the mage. Like, finally, we meet Marvin the mage. We've heard so much about him, like, literally since book 1.
Yes.
And they get to the Isle, like, it's in the middle of the river, the Isle of Ravens. And there's a weirwood tree there, and like half of it is like I don't know if it's dead or if it's like ready for winter or what, but like half of the leaves are alive, and that's where the ravens really hang out. And it's like this whole vibe. And they finally go in, and there's just like a kid staring at flames trying to like find porn in them. Like, I didn't it was funny to me, like, you know, like they're using these candles to like see across the world and across times and everything, and this guy's like, I just want to peep some porn, like.
Oh my god. And but, honestly, as he should.
But also the fact this is Leo Tyrell, right? This is the same guy, right?
Yeah.
I forgot if this was a different guy and then they meet Leo. No, this is the same guy, so it makes sense that Leo would be doing this. But you know, Sam and him know each other from back in the day. And Leo is just as terrible as we remember him, and Sam's like, I'm not a Craven anymore, I am Sam the Slayer, and
I slay.
You have not said that in literally months, and now you're back to it.
Oh my god.
But Marvin suddenly like opens the door and is like, Slayer, come in here, get in here. And, you know, he's like this tired looking man, but, you know, he's got big hands, whole description.
Yeah.
Like he looked more like he's not a tyrant. He's a dockside thug rather than a maester.
Oh my god.
Okay, actually, I kind of mispictured him then. Like, he's old, but he looks like a thug. And he's got big hands.
And he's like big. Like, he's got like big features and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's Marvin the Mage. And
wait, but then he's also short. Okay, so he's short, but he has the features of a tall man. But then it's on like a short body, I guess.
Or just somebody that like works out a lot and then has just like
right, he's like
huge
one
arms
of those really short,
stuff.
beefy guys, yeah.
Yeah. So
how old
Sam
is he?
notices Who knows? Not as old as Maester Aemon, obviously. But they're in his room in the cellar or wherever. Sam sees the obsidian candle that's lit, and it's like not really burning. Like it's lit, but nothing is burning.
Right. Yeah.
Right? It burns, but it is not consumed. And Sam's like, what feeds the flame then? And he's like, well, what feeds a dragon fire? And all of that, Valerians looked into flames, saw dreams and visions and all of this stuff. And now we have one of their candles.
Blood or fire? So, okay. So does he need to, like, keep a fire going or, like, sacrifice, like, people's blood or some shit? Like, what are the logistics?
He light the candle?
What are the logistics?
Well, we don't know. We learned about these candles and, like, it being, like, one of those things that's supposed to humble you because it can never actually be done.
Yeah.
But he managed to do it, so...
Because my thing is, where did it say? Hold on. Because when he's describing... When Marvin brings him into the room and Sam's kind of describing it, he says, a fire was burning in the hearth beneath a copper kettle. Whatever was inside of it smelt, burnt. Like, I don't know. I just wonder... I don't know. I don't know what's going on, and I would like to know.
I would like to know, too. But the thing is, this magic candle is working, and Marvin saw Sam coming in the flames, so...
Cool.
Like this whole
cool
thing.
As shit.
Okay, I just had, like, a thought. Okay, so Pate, aka Jaqen, is here, right? Pate is dead. Jaqen has taken over as Pate.
Yeah.
Right? So we know that Alaris is, like, an overachiever, already, like, forged a billion chains and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Or links into the chain or whatever. And then when we met Pate, he was struggling, like really struggling. But he's in this, like, important room right now. So has he, like, because it's Jaqen now has he, like, upgraded? And weren't people like, he is so smart all of a sudden? Like...
But that's also kind of part of what makes me go, does the mage know? Is he, like, playing into the prophecy or whatever?
Yeah. Did Jaqen bring the egg here, and did that somehow... Well, like, Well, no, before Jaqen became Pate, the candle had already been lit, so...
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's so much we don't fucking know. But that's so fucking cool that I want to know, because there's so many
I wonder
questions.
if it's so much that, like, now George R. R. Martin's like, it's so much. I can't figure it out. I can't write the story.
Right.
I put too much.
He's like, I came up with so many fucking prompts, but now I need to finish them.
Yeah,
like,
maybe he should just drop a few of them and be like, oh, that was nothing, actually.
Right.
It turns out it's, like, electricity. That's how the candle's, like...
Dude. Dude, he was just really ahead of his time and basically invented it.
Yeah. But, so it's like, Daenerys' prophecy, prince that was promised. That's the prophecy, right? There's a few prophecies around.
Born beneath a bleeding star.
Yeah, born amidst salt and smoke beneath the bleeding star.
Well, she is fucking a miss because we haven't had her in this whole book.
Yeah, but then the mage is like, oh yeah, but who knows if prophecies are real? They'll bite you in the dick. Like, he goes on this whole weird analogy about them. But he's like, yeah, but I should, like, really go talk to her and see what's what,
Yeah.
And also, it's a good thing that Maester Aemon died when he died, because if he had come, the Archmaesters might have killed him.
Yeah.
And Sam's like, why would they do that? And they're like, this is like super interesting. Marvin is like, who do you think killed all the dragons the last time around? What?
That's wild. That's like this is wild. Because so far...
This is, like, major conspiracy, right? Like,
yes,
this is the
absolutely.
grand Tyrell conspiracy or whatever. Like,
yes, because it's so, like, this is so bonkers. And, like, I wonder, like, obviously we don't freaking know, right? Like, I think part of me is like, well, this is my first time hearing this, so maybe there's some truth to this. Maybe this fits in somewhere, right? And then another part of my brain is like, okay, but think about the mage's whole journey, right? Like, he's trying to do all these discoveries, you know, sometimes weirdly, unethically, by trying to kill people and all the things, but, like, either way, like, he's trying to, like, advance science and technology, basically, right? Like, that's his whole shtick. He's like, we gotta figure out how these things work, and, like, let's do it, whatever. And he basically
we gotta get people to believe in climate change.
Yeah, and he basically will stop at nothing to make that happen, you know? As we know from him literally being like, let's sacrifice people to make this happen, you know? So that's his whole...
Sorry, who?
Because wasn't he, like, experimenting on, like, live bodies and shit?
No,
or, like,
no.
he promoted
Qyburn
doing it.
Well, I don't know if he promoted Qyburn doing it, but Qyburn was, like, the only one who understood what I was doing was the mage.
Mm-hmm. So, at the end of the day, that, to me, is very, like, he'll stop at nothing for this. Like, that's kind of his central mission. Like,
okay.
Very much, it's giving very, like, science technology bro who's like
mad scientist.
Yeah, who's like, this technology is more important than the ethics of how we get there. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm getting from him. And like, so there's that going on. And clearly he holds a lot of resentment for the other archmaesters and maybe like even this like university thing as like an institution, you know, he holds a lot of resentment because of how he's been
but do
treated,
you think
whatever.
He's right about the fact that they're intentionally suppressing magic and all of that stuff?
I do. Okay, my thoughts are, I think that he's probably right about the intentionally suppressing magic stuff, but I wonder if the dragon stuff is maybe him taking that a bit too far, is what I was trying to say.
The dragons and magic are kind of like...
Yeah, and that makes sense to me, but, like, who killed all the dragons last time?
Oh.
That part feels a little bit outlandish. I totally see, and, like, I understand, obviously, like, it makes sense that even in this world, the educational system is corrupt, and it's not necessarily about learning and, like, advancing knowledge and shit, and I get that. And that's what I'm saying, is, like, from his experiences, I understand him feeling, like, resentment about that and being like, this isn't what I'm trying to do, like, this isn't our mission and this isn't what we should be doing. But I also am like, this grand conspiracy though, like, is it just coming from all the built up thing of trying to do his job for so many years and constantly being shunned for it sort of thing? Like, I just wonder if this dragon conspiracy is going a bit too far, but everything else, I do see the vision, like, I get where he's coming from. But with the dragon one, I guess also just because I like, is there other evidence for this? Like, what do other fans think? Because I don't know.
That's for us to discover.
Ugh, whatever. Anyway, so I'm kind of on his side, but I'm also like, this feels like we're going very far with this. So I don't know. I'm apprehensive.
Yeah. Okay. So basically the mage is like, okay, I'm out of here. I got to get on a ship. I'm going to take the same one you came on, and I'm going to get to Daddy ASAP. You stay here, get a chain.
Wait,
also
sorry,
ASAP.
Sorry, one more thing. Also wild, though, because, like, you're literally maesters, and, like, archmaesters at that. You should understand how the world works, right? You get, like, winter, right? And you understand that, like, to stop winter, we need to have some of these powers accessible. You realize...
No. I don't... Okay, you're making a lot of assumptions here. You're assuming that they do believe that the others are real and all of that stuff.
That's true. I guess, like... Yeah,
It
but like
seems
they
clear to me that they just refuse to hear any of that and like believe it.
But like they're old, right? Like they've been around for winter.
They haven't
and
been
shit.
around since the last time the others were here thousands of years ago.
Not necessarily others, but like, yeah, I guess it's just me being like, well, if you've experienced winter, I feel like you could understand how the others would be a thing and
Yeah,
not
but
just
the
like a
winters they've experienced are just like cold and snow, not
myth. Right.
others.
I guess, yeah. And then they just like shut their minds off as soon as they hear any different. Yeah.
Exactly.
It makes sense. It makes sense. I guess I just don't like to think of them that way, so that's why I'm struggling to believe this.
Well, that's how it be.
That is how it be, but I don't like how it be.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
don't like
so
how
Sam
real
has to
this
stay and
be.
forge his chain real quick because he will be needed soon. Which I'm like, okay, it takes like even the best of them. It takes years. How
Yeah.
long does Sam
Yeah.
have to do this?
Yeah, like he's got like a 2-week summer camp. Like what's going on? Autumn camp.
Yeah. And this is when like Alaris is like, yeah, I'll help you out. Also, confession time. I totally knew why you were there, and I was sent because we knew you were coming, and he saw you in the flames and everything. And Sam's like, okay, cool. That's totally cool. And then there's this other kid there, pasty faced youth.
Wait, sorry.
He's
Right
called-
before, as Alaris is like, hey, confession time, you were set up for me to come get you, it says, and I might just be reading a lot into this, Sam stared at the strange pale flame for a moment, then blinked and looked away. Could he, like, see something?
I don't know. I think we would have heard if he saw something, but maybe potentially in the future he sees something.
Okay.
So this pasty-faced youth, as he is referred to, comes up to Sam and is like, oh, you can bunk with me. There's like another room. We'll hang out with Walgrave and all of this. And Sam's like, oh, that's great. Amazing. Want to be BFFs? I'm Sam. And this guy goes, I'm Pate, like the pig boy. And we know from the prologue that Pate is dead. And we also know that Jaken took his face, so this is Jaken. So, yeah.
Wild.
Full circle.
Full circle. Yeah.
So, oh my god, there's nothing but predictions, but how about we save them for the wrap up?
Yeah. I also feel like I gave a lot of I basically explained all of my thoughts, I think, at the beginning when I got ahead of myself, and I was like,
Yeah.
and just, you're on know about him, and just, about like, that's genuinely, most of my predictions are just, okay, everyone knows about everyone. It's like, Euron is like, I know that you know that I sent, and it's like, everyone just knows everything is my prediction, except for Dany, who's like, what is going on, guys? And they're all gonna show up, and it's gonna be funny.
Cool.
Also, one of them is bound to run into Jorah on the way, right? Like, that just
Oh
feels
my
like
god, can we not think about that?
Okay, sorry. Oh my god. Okay.
Okay, so
Next chapter.
there are no next chapters. So basically, like, this is it. Send us your what? Send us your questions, any theories, your thoughts about Harmat reading the foreword of the next book and all of that. And we did decide on a date to record. Was it March 24th?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're recording the wrap up on March 24th. So that gives you an exact date for a deadline to send things in. Our email is popculturesymposium@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram because Harmat is doing reels and shit. It's at popculturesymposium. And of course, join the Discord for like more one-on-one interactions. And yeah, just like
come hang out.
yeah, come hang out. I'm sorry if I don't respond as promptly as I would like to. I'm just doing my best here. But this book is amazing. And I'm sad we're done, but also I'm excited, but also I'm sad.
Oh, I'm so scared. This is so weird.
And we're going to do, Brian sent like a quiz for us to do. I know you wanted us, like, okay. In terms of theories, I've told you all the theories that I'm aware of as I went along. I know you wanted a summarization of the theories, but there's no way I remember all of them, and I don't have the time or energy to listen to all of our previous 40 episodes to bring them back to you. So we'll only be able to discuss theories if you bring them up, or if listeners bring them up, basically, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But I will get you to predict on everybody. I'll send you like a list of characters again to predict on. And it'll be like everybody, like this book, other book, every book, you know?
We should also do more quizzes.
I will find more quizzes. That
Yay.
I will do.
Slay.
It's easier to find quizzes than it is to find theories.
And that's
Actually,
fine.
I doubt that. It's probably just as easy. But for me, theories require like a level of critical thinking that I do not currently possess. So
Valid.
if somebody
Slay.
sends me a theory, I will read it to you.
Slay. Okay, guys, if we missed any
If you have any
theories from these
questions
books,
you want her to answer, do tell. And I guess I'll answer questions too.
Slay. Yay,
Yeah.
guys, this is so exciting. Thank you for listening this far to us covering 4 damn books.
Can you believe we're like 80% of the way there.
I don't like that. I really don't like that.
Yeah. Also, after the wrap up, we'll probably be watching an episode or 2 of the show. So stay tuned for that. So we're not going to jump right into book 5. I think I also just need to be in a better space of mind before we start on a whole book.
Yeah. Especially on the book.
Yeah, and let's read Hunger Games in the meantime. Let's read for fun in the meantime.
Yes.
Let's whatchamacallit? Yeah. It'll be like sunnier then, warmer then. Life will be better.
Exactly.
I won't have this many classes and this many projects and
wild era.
Okay.
Do we have any emails or anything?
No, just the one from Brian that I'm gonna save till next time.
KK.
I don't think there is. Oh, somebody suggested another game. I have it noted down somewhere. I don't remember who it was or what the game was, but they sent it in Discord and I liked it, so I noted it down. So if you're the one who suggested that game that I'm thinking of, we'll also do that. We'll play our last round of a game of Who or What.
Ooh, yes.
I still have, was it Mott's who sent me, a whole list of things, and then I, divided them up into books so that...
Oh, that's...
So I think there's only, book 5's worth of ones. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, also send fan art that you want Harmat to see. And me. I want to see fan art.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do all the things, guys. Do all the things. Give us all the content.
Yeah.
Also, okay, if there's when there's fan art and specifically if there's any thirst traps that I should see, send them to me.
I haven't heard from Yaya in a bit, but maybe she's been cooking something up. I don't know.
That's so funny. Yeah. Anyway, everyone feel free to send me shit.
Yes, just no spoilers.
Yes.
And I'll tell you the name of the next book in our wrap-up.
Okay. Slay.
All right. And maybe we'll read what is it called?
Forward?
Forward together. I can't remember that word.
Oh my
Even
God.
though it has the word in it. And it's just basically before word.
Yeah.
Okay. we'll see you next time, maybe with the before word. Maybe not. Farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.